if this works. Okay. Um, so the topic of the night is command line shenanigans and other stuff like that. A series of small lightning talks for whoever wants to show off uh, cool stuff in Linux. I so we'll see. I know, Will, you had some stuff.
Correct. And of course, the one last thing I'm trying to do before showing it off is blown up. But I can show what I got right now if you want me to kick it off.
Sure, unless there's anyone else who wants to stall.
I didn't make a lightning talk. I just brought ideas.
Okay, well
Cut and grep are my favorites. And the combination, you can use them to do just about any parsing you want to. So the cut command, for those not familiar, is basically a split in PowerShell, cut and bash. The syntax is basically cut and then tack D in your delimiter. So if it's CSV, that may be a comma. The reason I say may is because CSVs have word syntax where also you can have double quotes around things, which if you're trying to parse CSVs with cut, that gets really interesting.
My suggestion is don't.
So what I have done at times is I will first run it through sed and replace any semicolons with a double comma. And then I'll go through and replace every every double quote, comma, double quote with a semicolon. And then go through and replace all remaining commas that are only a single comma with a semicolon, and then cut based on semicolons. Because that'll parse it and bring it must to the original data.
If you're actually doing CSV parsing, maybe go look at Python or PowerShell if you must.
There exist command line tools to parse CSVs, but I haven't taken the time to learn them.
Also, with the usual warning that CSVs are very complicated, it seems like it should be a simple file standard.
Yeah,
what is a CSV is a question.
It is not. So anyhow, so cut is great. D for delimiter. If you want a space, you typically need to do D single quote space single quote in order to get that. And then F is your fields, starts at 1 and goes up from there. And it's just in order, right? So the first one now, what's also great is in CSVs, you look at it and you go, oh, I don't care if I get a bunch of double quotes in there because there are commas, between them, and there are no other commas. And then it turns out one of your fields actually has a comma in the field. You'll get like all the data you're expecting, except one line will be very misparsed. And then grep, of course, searches for things. You can throw a bunch of E's or do the EIEI stuff in there.
Okay, whoa, slow down. There might be some new people here. This is a lot to throw in there. There's some command line stuff that we need to talk about also, like piping, redirections, that kind of stuff.
Piping, that little key that you can never find, you never hit on purpose.
Unless you're a Windows user, you know it well because that's what the backslash is because your paths are weird. But
Windows users don't pipe file paths; they click on things.
I love how you guys say this until you work with someone that's got a French keyboard, and then you're like, "Where's the pipe?" And you're like, "What's going on here?" So if you know anyone with French or Spanish keyboards, nope, pipe is in a completely different spot.
The French and dirty keyboard is a very special level of entertaining.
Oh,
that's why you will do it.
Raspberry Pi that's running in Great Britain by default, and none of the keys are set where they're supposed to be.
Well, that's why everyone knows how to remove the French language pack, right?
Or my personal favorite was somebody who had their local profile set up to use German and had a German laptop, but the login screen was still set to American. And so you had to touch type it to be able to log in because looking at the keys just would completely mess with your head.
Nice. So piping is basically you're taking the output of one command and setting it as the standard out of one command, standard input of the next. It's the shift backslash. And yes, a backslash is not the slash that's in a URL. If you know anyone that says URLs by going, www, whatever, backslash whatever, they are a liar. They should be corrected on the spot as long as they're not on a public live stream. And then you should tell them that that is the /, also known as slash. The backslash is the one that goes the other way, as Matt mentioned in Windows land. It is used for path separation. In Linux land, it is typically used as what's known as an escape character, meaning, no, I really meant to put this there. I don't want you to make it do the thing it normally does.
Backslash is always a fun one.
Yeah, and I could not get any amount of backslashes to work to get cut to use the space as a delimiter. That's how I ended up with the single quotes. Because I ended up with like 4 backslashes. And it's like, no, I only need 1 character. Because at that point, it actually saw 2 backslashes is what I wanted to delimit.
May I do a quick demo on how I handle when cut does not do exactly what I want it to?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it here. I will drop out of share.
I'm going to see if I can just hijack it. Also, I just got my screen sharing set up, so I am so proud of myself. I'm on Hyperland, and I kind of like did a horrible job installing it the first time, and here I am. All right, so terminal, I think this is the one. All right.
And then you can demo SSH port forwarding, because that's my other fun one.
Not right now, but I have a dirty trick with that. It's all right. Can everyone see?
Yes.
All right, cool.
You are, you have a very wide monitor.
We see.
Oh, you see everything. Okay. All right.
Our faces are like
I'm still tweaking this. This is a new experience for me.
What?
That
Also
was just
for
one
new
monitor,
people-
by the way.
Wow. For new people, this will be recorded, and we can we'll post it later here so that there's more of a possibility for you to slow Jared down.
All right, let me see if I can do region.
Gotta go. I've only got 5 minutes. I gotta get.
Sorry.
Give me a second, one last time for region here. Let me do a. Also trying to learn how to click and drag with a brand new touchpad that I'm not used to is fun. And of course, I should have practiced this beforehand.
On being open source. Shouldn't not be open. Probably needs calibrated.
Oh no, the calibration's good. All right, there we go. How is that? Or did it give the whole screen again?
We're loading. Spinning.
We've got Chrome's favorite icon.
Interesting.
Yep, still not showing up.
And let's go.
You could show your whole monitor again and just maximize that one window.
You know what? That's actually not a terrible idea. And oh god, this is gonna get fun. All right, so let me hit this terminal. That's gonna probably show everything.
Now we can see. Oh no, we can actually see just the one app.
Oh, that I don't even. Words lost. Okay, whatever. So anyway, so you can see the terminal, the K9's running, correct?
Correct.
All right, cool. So anyway, that's a fun one. So I'm trying to whip up something quick for TV, but one of the biggest issues I do see is people try to use cut for a lot of things, which is good. There's a lot of power to it, but there's the other bastardized solution which I love, which is awk. So we're going to take a fun little thing here. So we're going to do kubectl get pods -a, right? So this is something in the Kubernetes land that I need to play with a lot. But let's say we're in here, and for me, I want to grep and find, I want to go through here. I only want the scratch space. I know there's ways to do this with the kubectl command. Great command, but that's a rabbit hole of an entire other ecosystem that it's just not in scope, and I think people need a break from Kubernetes with us, with Andrew and I. for a bit. So anyway, we're gonna do grep, and we want to find anything with the scratch namespace. We're gonna put -e. You don't need to for something simple, but if you have a space, you should put in some quotes, and that'll give us that. But let's say, cool, I got the scratch namespace, but I want to know what the name of the pod is. This one in the middle. So one of the things you do then, and I'm using pipe, so kubectl spits it out. Then I'm using grep to filter it. Then I throw that out, and this is using standard in and standard out. If anyone's new to this, which is which is a part of programming that I think is lost on most new people, but please abuse it. It's your friend. And then if I want to get the second one. So if you want to, very similar to cut, we're going to do -f for field. Now, the default is already a space, so we're going to put a space in there, use a single quote here, print, and if I want to, I will put the $2, meaning I want the second one here. And you know what? Let's get status while we're at it with a space, which is going to be, so if that's 2, that's going to be 4. Put 4 in here, close it, run it, and ta-da. Oh, and I think we need to put another space in there. There we go. And that gives you your output. By chaining this, you can do some unholy things. Oh, and with grep also, if let's say, just because you want to be a little, you want to have a little fun, if you found a line, you want to go one before it, use the B and A for before and after. So we can grab 2 lines before, and now we found the thing we're looking for, and we've gone up 2. So grep, piping it through, whatever, great way. It was a great set of commands that I think that if you do this, you can chain this for a lot of your sysadmin jobs, as well as this is my bread and butter for how I approach almost every problem with CI/CD when I need to start getting into the weeds with customization, grabbing something dynamically for everything from Helm charts and Kubernetes to dynamic grabbing files. And also this trick allows me to treat JSON and YAML as databases essentially that I can shove inside of an environment variable and treat as a secret that's been encrypted. So yeah.
Will, if you want to get rid of the awk part of it and add in a double-dash color equals auto, you can also demonstrate that it can do colorful, show you the
For
highlight.
grep, you mean, or what? For which one?
Yeah, double-dash color, or yeah, equals auto.
Mm-hmm.
And there you can see that it,
and there's another way to show
it.
The other thing I learned today as well.
Yeah, because and even looking at the main page, it specifies lowercase a is the same as double dash text.
interesting.
And it doesn't have any entry for dash lowercase b. Oh, no, there it is, byte offset. So that may depend on your grep version, whether you can use lowercase or whether it requires uppercase.
That's also makes tricky shit with bat or bat cats, like cat with syntax highlighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can never remember the syntax for awk, and that's why.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I have to look it up.
If I have simple needs, I just use cut. Also, if you really want to go rot your brain, you can write scripts in awk if you really, really hate your life.
So if you want to talk about hating your life, the amount of effort you put into trying to make sure that awk works compared to writing another script is difficult. It's difficult to justify other dependencies when you're blasting systems in the cloud and bringing back up again from scratch. But there is a power there. And then there was a fun talk. Walt, if he's here, no, he left. Jonathan gave a talk, or a handle is Yunkeltron on IRC. He worked for Cigna, and he did a talk on high-speed CSV processing, where he was getting chunks of 10 gig CSVs that he had to process fast. And awk was beating his Perl, was beating a lot of his C and C++ that he had on site. Python couldn't touch it. So as much as everyone can definitely say how complicated and difficult awk is, it outpaces most people's production code. And I have yet to see anyone do anything processing CSVs with Java that can compete with awk.
I can't believe that anybody would have Java that would be faster than awk.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
To be fair, I've yet to see Java processing CSVs that beats my worst cut statements.
Fair, very fair.
So, Will, another fun trick. I don't know if you have lolcat installed on your machine.
This is the new one for me. That sounds relevant to my interest.
Oh no.
I know of get moo, apt get moo,
No, that's Cowsay.
and SL.
All right, what is lolcat?
So put some text.
That's wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's great.
You can pipe it. So
Yes.
Oh,
Type any text.
I have a cool trick to show you, actually. So I just installed something with a bunch of dependencies, and let's say I want to remove them all, but I don't know what the dependencies are. Has everyone been introduced to Etsy Keeper?
no.
Oh, that.
Imagine someone's messing with my commit so much that I need to specialize a Git installation for it or Mercurial for just handling the etc file or the etc folder. And this is by far I call it my ghetto tripwire. So I'm going to go sudo-i, and I'm going to go into Etsy. And what we can do here is do a git log. And boom, there is here's like the latest packages that's been updated with my last Pacman update. So it tells me what's committed, and it goes through and actually goes through my actual my actual etc folder. So if I have any configs, it tracks the delta with it as well, all in a Git history.
And so, Will, this you just basically have a Git repo of your Etsy folder then, or?
I don't even do it. I installed Etsy Keeper. You run Etsy Keeper init in the /Etsy folder, and it works. And it's a Git solution or Mercurial, but it's designed for configs, so you can mix and match with binaries, and it just tracks configs and certain other OS level stuff. The way that it's implemented with Arch is it works with the package manager to get the delta for every update. So if I have an update that blows up something, this is how I undo it. And that's it.
And it is in Etsy or in apt as well. I just checked.
So
yes, of course.
Basically an automated version of my registered pet stock.
Yeah.
It seems like, all right.
And I learned about it from a Fedora maintainer and one of the maintainers for X2Go before I hired him at a different job. And Etsy Keeper saved our bacon several times on really antiquated systems such as tape backups that were very sensitive to configs and very easy to blow up with a little bit of an overzealous apt-get up or with a yum update.
You could probably use it as well in your tilde.configs folder.
There is a way to configure it. I've been using it for years, and I don't use it outside my /Etsy folder, and I've been extremely happy. So,
Does it work on BSD?
does it work on what?
BSD.
I believe so. I mean, there's nothing with how it's compiled that would stop you from how it's being used. More importantly, I think on my laptop, I don't think I have it on here. Nope. Okay. Basically, there at one point I had such a huge mistake where I accidentally blew out a ton of packages and I had to reinstall my Arch system from scratch. And I went through and I saw all the package delta that captured everything that I had deleted by accident. And with a little command line magic, with a little bit of sed, a little bit of grepping, a little bit of some Vim S, slash whatever replacement, I was able to completely restore my system within 15 minutes at a friend's place with just a simple USB drive. So Etsy Keeper, it is, assuming you don't wipe out your entire /Etsy folder, is one of the lowest effort backup systems I've seen and tracking systems I've seen that it saves you from yourself or a bad update or just anything on your system I can find.
That's pretty slick. Thanks for showing that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. There is another one going back to the Kubernetes example. So let's remove the bat. So let's say I want to see this and I'm trying to do like an update of like what's going on. The simplest command I think everyone needs to learn is the watch command. You can put -n for how many like seconds you want to work. So we can put it like, 1. I think the default's 2. Yeah, sorry, it's N2. Why is this not working? Okay, so -n interval. Okay, and then we'll just do kubectl. Now it does change the output a little bit. Get pods -a, and every second it'll run in the background, and you can see an update of what's happening. So if you've ever done a change or you're watching it and trying to see what's going on, and you don't have the nice TUI or something, you can literally just run watch. You can set the timeout on it, and it is the best crappy monitor I've ever seen. This allows me to see basic TCP dump logs of what's happening.
I've also definitely used it for doing temperature monitoring on a server.
Oh, yes.
Watch. I think some really crappy servers cook their CPUs.
So it's also good if you use mem-free and you have a good grep with mem-free and with that, you can actually live watch how much RAM you're using without using top, H-top, B-top, that kind of stuff.
So that reminded me of a couple of cool tricks I can say, but I don't want to interrupt if you've got more.
I got one last one, and then you guys can do whatever, which is television. I've talked about it, but oh my gosh. This is the coolest thing I have to show. So you literally type in TV. It's a Rust-based application, should be on many distros, easy to install. And literally it's like, oh, hey, look, I have files and stuff like that and has a preview thing. But I hit Control T, and I get the channel picker. So let's say if I want to go look at my projects that I got, I can now, what is going on here? Am I in the wrong spot? Okay, let's go in the proper spot. Actually, you know what? Let's do, let's do TV on my stuff folder. And then in here, fake credit scores. Oh, that's fun. Okay. But what I can do, actually, let's go do it this way. Let's do the stuff. No, that should be it. All right. So if you do, no. Let's just do it this way. Okay. If I do this, and then was it project picker? So the project picker should pick, why is it saying access denied? This is new. Huh. Well, of course, I was trying to custom make a project thing, like a plugin for it, but of course I blow this up every time. But anyway, it's a nice fuzzy finder for practically anything you want. So we'll go see if we can do some Kubernetes stuff. So if I do K8s, let's go for pods. It should pull that up, assuming, and it's failed again. Okay. Well, the demo gods are extracting its blood sacrifice on me. What is going on? Was I in the wrong? Go ahead.
Is this like a replacement for FZF?
There we go. It's you can, but it's just, and it's a more generic thing, and it's kind of like built on top of like a lot of what they're doing with Telescope. And like right here, I wrote a custom one here, and I'll show you guys what the YAML files look like. But literally, this is just going into subfolders and being like, go into this folder of what I'm trying to work on, pull up the README of what project am I doing. And it's really simple of how do you list stuff on the left, what's in that, and what do you want to display when you highlight it? And then if you select it, it's going to show you whatever the thing you selected and return on the command line. So if you run it as and run it with a let's say if you do like let's say if I want to figure out like what where I want to go do some work, I can do like CD. Sorry, I can do like var was it my var whatever you want it into. Wrap it with your and we'll do TV and we'll see if we do stuff. And then we will do the project picker. So we'll do project picker again. There, now it's magically showing up. Cool. So let's go say if I want to do buzz chat, right? I have that, and now I can do SSH my var, or not SSH, CD my var, and it should, or what was it, echo? But there you go. Anyway, so that way I can do CD and then stuff. There we go. Now I'm in there, and then I can get right into work and start doing whatever I need to do stuff. So it's just a fuzzy finder. You can set it to do whatever. How it looks is, let's go into the config. Television, they have all the different channels is in cable. So let's just go NVIM here. All right. So for instance, if you're in AWS, I wasn't going to sign in to show it. Pretty much the command to do the list of what you're trying to do on the left is it'll do that. And then the preview for how it's supposed to look will pop up on the right, and that'll update the preview window constantly on the other side. And then anything in the source in the list, you can do the fuzzy finder. So it's like a generic telescope fuzzy finder for anything. The ones that kind of broke, which is I'm having some issues with Kubernetes right before because I was logging in and changing things. I don't even know where it's pointed at right now. But Kubernetes goes in there, and then if you have like a custom value that you need to pull from up above, you can grab the fields. It'll do and pull it in for the preview command down below. You can see, get it all set up to do as much as you want. But the idea is that the fuzzy finder will just make it set up so you have your source for the list on the left, you get your output on the right. It's kind of handy. At work, I use describe instances so I can rip through and see who owns what, see the tags, see what's going on, without sitting there and running like 5 different commands the entire time trying to figure out what system's going on and getting a wall of text. If you want to as well, speaking of wall of text, if you, let's say, do the default channels. If you cat default channels and you pipe it into TV, now you can start sorting through the whole thing if you want and find the file. So we can do like, I don't know, let's see what's for K8s that we have an option. Okay, let's do alias. Okay, so alias. And it'll pull that right out. So it's on the command line so you can use it, copy, paste it, do whatever you need to. Anyway, point at anything you want. It'll rip through, find what you need to. I keep on finding more uses for it, and it keeps on blowing my mind. For setting it up, it's just a TOML file, throw it in there in your path, in your config television folder, and it's great. Cool. So that's all I got for now.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing. Do you have those config files somewhere shareable, or did you pull those?
All those config files, except for like the custom ones I was playing with, or that I made, which is like 3 of them total. But the majority, almost that entire folder is, it came right out of the base installation. So,
okay.
Yeah. Like I said, was it my project? I can post this in a chat someplace, but let's go there. This one's custom. So I can post that in the random channel for CIALUG and Slack, and so you have an example of what a custom one looks like. Oh, and the nice part is too is the requirements. It'll go check to make sure that those those programs are actually on your system in the path, and if it doesn't work, it won't let you load that quote unquote channel. That's it. Anyway, whoever's next, go for it.
Anyone else have some stuff to show off? Otherwise, I do have a couple notes here.
I've got a couple, but it might take me a minute before I'm in a good spot. So if you
Okay,
got some, go for it.
I can go ahead and,
I need to download an ISO to demo mine.
okay, let me pop back over in here
You
and
think I'm
hit
kidding? No, I know.
share. And let's just go for the entire screen. And yes, I want my built-in display. Okay. And there we go. So yeah, a couple real cool things. These are sort of in no particular order. If you want to see what the weather is like near you, you can just hit a website here, command line, curl. We can make that a little bit bigger for those in the back. Curl WTTR.in, and you'll end up with your forecast. And there's some configs you can set, and where does it think that I am? So let's try.
Typically, if it can figure out your IP via GeoIP, it'll do that.
Yeah, usually it does the right thing. Let's see if it will do the right thing with the zip code. Yeah, there we
Hey,
go.
Andrew, if you are feeling little adventurous after this, the best thing I can see that happens after you check out the weather is to find out what you're doing for coffee. And would you like to know how to go shopping for coffee on the command line?
I'll bite.
Okay, I'll get the link. Continue. I'll get you set up.
Okay, so
I'm actually
the other
interested
fun-
quite a bit in this one because I was trying to figure out something to get. I do telecom stuff, so I was trying to figure out a way to get a phone system to read out the weather. Is this always parsed like this? Is there any way to get it in like a JSON output?
You know what? I'm not sure. That is
Yes,
a very
there
good
is.
question.
And the thing is, trying to get a JSON access because everyone and their mother uses it for whipping up little programs and for learning how to and then people try to make little companies. Trying to get a reliable source that's JSON, but the answer is yes, I've done it, and I don't know of a current access point. I used to go to Wonderground for their API. You may need to register now with their API key, and you're limited, but I think the limitation on it is for 10,000 like requests or something a month. So
Oh yeah, I would be way underneath that.
yeah,
when I was looking this up on different API accesses to weather, that's basically I was seeing is that some were paid, some were free, but generally you had to register for everything, and the amount of granularity changed quite a bit
Yes.
for the free non-registered ones. Yeah, and that's about
also
where I got stuck and decided to quit.
follow Noah because half the websites literally just steal it from Noah. And I used to be on the other side of Noah, and we used to complain all the time when I was there that all these other websites are literally just saying, "Oh, pay for our access to weather," and it's like, wait, you're getting all of our data from our servers, and you're charging. I was like, it is the most heinous crime ever, which is first you pay for it with your tax dollars because that's a good thing to do. Then a private company goes in between and goes, no, we're going to charge API access.
Yeah, that's about where I stopped though. From
I
what I
would
remember, Noah didn't have
Noah
as
API.
detailed as information as everybody else did. Like obviously that's one of the places that they aggregate stuff from, but there was more on other places.
Yeah, Wonderground is what I would check it out. I'll put the link in.
Yeah, I've tried
Sure.
those APIs and they're a little interesting sometimes. They like to fail on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah.
Our tax
Yeah,
dollars at work.
getting the weather was one half of it, and then figuring out where a user was the other half of it. And like obviously, I could just have them enter in their zip code, but I was trying to pull it from a variety of sources. Still, yeah, I ended up putting that project on the shelf and I'll come back to it later at some point in time. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. I like that one.
Yeah. So another fun little thing is if you just want to look up the cheat sheet and you don't have man installed on your machine, but you do have curl, It's kind of an odd situation here, but if you just curl or pop in your web browser this URL, it will give you essentially a quick cheat sheet of how to do all the command or all the stuff there. So like say you could do grep and it will walk you through a quick cheat sheet of all the greps stuff.
So this is actually pulling from the same database that a CLI tool called TLDR uses. So
Yep.
if you have already set up your machine and can actually install stuff, that is another, so if you
Would help if I could type.
and TLDR is really nice.
Oh, by the way, thank you for not a single person even bringing up ASDF this entire time.
So
Do you have something against ASDF?
Everything.
I actually was just using it a few minutes ago, and I was like pulling my hair out. Trying to remember how to use it.
What's
Oh.
ASDF?
Version
No,
manager.
no. Let me just stop that right now. All right. So would anyone like to know a way that you can work with both Windows people and Mac people and Linux people all at the same package manager that isn't homebrew and doesn't suck and it's used in DoD applications? Nix. And specifically, Phlox is Nix compatible. And the nice part about it is that when you make the packages, it's all immutable. So when you say you've done a thing and you have certain things in place, it's literally all in one spot. It is so if you want the benefits of Nix OS, but you're like, I don't want to change my distro, and you only care about like production stuff or consistency with other people, Phlox is just a wrapper on Nix. You don't have to run Phlox. Phlox just makes it stupid simple, and there's a free tier that you can just abuse it locally. But if you want to get everyone on the same page for, I make a program, I need to go distribute it to other places, blah blah blah, that is the way to go. Note though, if you dive in the packages and you're not used to how a lot of linking and using a polymorphic binary works, you're in for a treat. So if you've ever used BusyBox, imagine if everything was a single binary like BusyBox and then just references back to that single binary.
I don't know if that's helping. I don't know if that's helping me selling on that.
That sounds delightfully evil.
It is,
So
but it's not at the same time. It's just when you have users so dumb that can't figure out how to config anything and you can't trust them on dependencies, this is what you do. That's not in a container, that is.
yeah, so continuing on with fun show and tell stuff, you've got, of course, LSLH is list view human, so you can see how big your files are there. And then, of course, color equals auto will give you the pretty colorings.
Yes, it just works for DU and DH.
Yep. Or if you want to annoy Will, you can lolcat it as well. There's also the joyful, if people aren't aware of Fortune, it will give you various little Fortune cookies depending on which Fortune modules you have installed. It's an oldie but a goodie. You can also be totally obnoxious and do something like cow say, which will just have a cute cow tell you stuff.
And now lolcat it.
You know, I
Yes.
didn't have trust issues with Andrew until now, so thank you, everyone.
And cow say actually does have a obscenely insane number of different cows that you can have.
Cow files.
Yes.
Also, I learned some of them are rather interesting.
Is SL as configurable as CalSay?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, please somebody show off SL.
Okay.
Now, here's something funny about SL. There's a random number generator on it. So there's a small chance that when you type SL, it'll actually do LS.
That's genius.
That's as bad as there apparently was an Easter egg built.
Look up the help for SL. There's more you can do with it.
Yeah, definitely that first one.
Help! Help!
Oh dear. But apparently in man there, if you ran the command man right after midnight local time, it would occasionally output gimme, gimme, gimme. Because of course, gimme, gimme, gimme a man after midnight. Yeah, it apparently existed for years but yeah.
So
Also, I don't think if you have Ansible installed and you have CalSay installed, every message from Ansible will get sent into CalSay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's changed.
no, it hasn't
Yeah.
changed, and it gets even worse. If you're calling up Ansible from Python and you've wrapped the whole thing in a click script, your entire script will run for as long as the Ansible playbook. In one case, I had one that had a playbook that I had to run once a month minimum for part of our image building stuff in a pipeline, and whenever it broke, someone put on CalSay, and I had to wait for everything to complete in Python before I could get any output. So I would wait for 50 minutes, and then I'd have to debug with nothing but CalSay, because Click had to, once it was all done, Click would finally show everything.
If you really dislike CalSay and Ansible, there is an environment variable you can put in your .c file to go fix that problem.
True. Also, there's and if you guys ever share a screen with either live share on VS Code, or you're doing it the old school way, which was with screen and SSH, or with Tmux and SSH, one of the best things you can do is start taking someone else's favorite fat finger and alias that fat finger of that mistyped command to SL, and make sure you put in the commands for it that makes it run as long as possible. So then when you're doing pair work with them, you hear nothing but complaints every time for their own self-inflicted goof.
The other news when I was typing telnet all the time to help break my bad habit.
So the fun thing also in Bash is if you do a double bang, the 2 exclamation marks, it will do the last command.
And bang dollar will do will give you the last argument, the last command.
Yep. And bang minus number will give you that command up in your stack. So like say bang minus 2 will give you the SL man page, since that was what I last done 2 commands up.
And bang number will run that number in your history file.
Yep.
Not overly useful, but occasionally useful.
When did you ever use that?
Okay, if you're somehow looking at your history, if you look at the history command, you see a number, to copy and paste the number, you copy paste the number.
But why not use recursive search?
I don't know.
Something I found out not too long ago: if you put a space before your command, it doesn't get included in history.
Not exactly, but I do know if you set the -E flag, you can avoid history.
Also, you can just clear the history if you don't want it, but you have to. But if you run history -C, it'll clear it, but only for the current session. You have to run history -W to write it to the file.
Right.
So when you're mean to people at Ice Age, you run history -C &A% history -W, and then they don't know what commands.
Or if you're just abusive like I do, what I would make in the box is rm.bash history. Just
Get rid of it.
Yeah, that's evil. I don't
But then that command is in the history.
I had one of them one time that figured out that if they like piggyback on my session, they just start up arrowing. So the history tax E type W seems to be the trick there.
If you delete your history, please run it as a background process,
Why?
because that's the only way to delete the history without the delete command showing up in the history.
I don't care if that's just something you can see.
I don't care. When I was building
My
boxes,
workaround, my workaround was to use the space before the command as my last command to delete the history, and then it wouldn't show up in the new history that was written.
Kind of weak. But I will have to say, if you ever see someone up arrowing, please teach them how to grep. And then if you have, like, for instance, do us a favor, Andrew, and just put bang 59. And that'll run line 59 from your history.
Depends on the box, but sometimes I
Since we were talking about fuzzy search earlier, does anybody have a thing installed where if you have fuzzy search, you can just do a Control F and search your history?
I use TV for that.
Yeah, there's I have a thing in my Basher. See, I think I have it on here too. Yeah, I do. I can put it in Slack.
Also, don't forget. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I dropped it into the Slack, but there's a thing you can add to Bash RC to give you basically Control F, and then you can just search through your history. The only downside is that I noticed is if you ever try to up arrow or whatever to run a command again after you've run fuzzy search, it just says FH. So you have to actually find it, highlight it, copy it out of the search, and then you have it in your copy buffer. It doesn't leave the command as command and go back into it.
Some shells integrate with it better. I use that with Fish Shell. And Atwin also has History Sync. You can run your own sync server, which is pretty nice.
I guess if we're going to bring up command line tools that absolutely kick butt, YQ and JQ. Is everyone familiar with? You have to install it. So JQ is jQuery, is a JSON for working with JSON objects, and YQ is the same thing. Now, also note, YQ has two different versions. There's a Python version, which is what I think it's installing, and there's a Go version. So if you use Muscle and you're in like an Alpine container, you will get the Go version. If you're on Debian or any other main distro, YQ will give you the Python version. They do operate a little bit differently, but the Go version will essentially will parse a YAML file and will turn into a JQ command under the covers. Whereas the Python version literally is just all Python stuff, but you can do full on queries. You can do complete replacements on what you're trying to work on. All of that within just that command. You can pass in command line arguments, turn that into different levels of what you're trying to do inside the JSON object. You can flip JSON to any other like TOML. You have to use YQ for it, but YQ will do TOML, JSON, YAML, and convert all that, and allow you to custom handle every field that you want. So if you're in, the main use I use this for is for CI/CD pipelines. So GitHub Actions or GitLab CI, and for GitHub, if you want to update anything inside GitHub in your action, save it and push it back up. I have some really nasty JQ, because otherwise, if you don't use JQ, you have to use TypeScript in order to track the deltas to push all those to push your Git payload back up to GitHub from your GitHub action. This is by far the most powerful tool I have ever used on the command line. And every time I go to teach it to someone, it takes them forever to write it, but that code does not change, and it runs fast. So, I'll post a link in the random channel for using Terraform, YQ, and JQ all together locally, only locally, in a Git repo.
You want me to try and share?
So
Still going?
the one final command that I have that will toe the edges of what our COC is just by its name. If you ever type something and you get an error message and you want to see if it can correct it, there is the command. Yes, the fuck is a interesting package that will try and create it, fix it for you. So let's see here. So like say if you have CTA.
Please let me know if I need to demo this for anyone. I use this all the time.
So, and then by entering in return, it will actually run the command, which of course, if you just run cat with nothing else, it isn't very helpful.
Misspelled Python.
Spell the Python.
So yeah, it actually does the right thing and even puts you on 3.
All right, now you have get out of that and then just put some absolute garbage on the command line. All right, just put something in, press enter, type fuck. No fucks given.
I've heard something this command also will, if you mess up some arguments, I think there's a little bit of nicety on it. It's not.
Yes. And you can also add more to it. And someone has made an LLM enabled version for it, and I will be working on making an MCP for it.
That's amazing. But yeah, so anyway, though, that's a definite work unsafe way of correcting your
Hold on,
your command.
time out. Now, Andrew says it's work unsafe. I, however, have used this command in front of the C-suite of a company that was sold for $13 billion. So I have to say, no, it is work friendly, because you want to know why everyone goes, why did you do that? They question it. But when they see it fixes mistakes, then they go, we can hire cheaper people that suck more with a command line. And then they look at other Windows users going, you can finally use Linux. You can finally use the cloud. We don't need to use Azure. So if I have to say anything else, no. I think fuck is the most professionally friendly command, because it forces everyone to realize someone understood their pain and solved it. Now everyone doesn't have an excuse to learn Linux on the command line.
You can also alias it to other stuff as well.
Oh, hell no.
To answer Don's question, what is MCP? It's the Model Context Protocol. It's basically a way that you can make it easy for LLM AIs to talk to a whole bunch of different things.
It's a great for LLMs to do action on your behalf, and caveat emptor of all that.
Yeah.
SSH with
So, for example, like GitKraken has a MCP, so that as you're using GitHub or as you're using VS Code, it will actually do your check-ins for you and write your comments and make it look like you're super smart. Or if you really want to tick off your coworkers, because it's way overly verbose.
Oh, can you do me a favor and do SSH terminal.shop?
TRMINA.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yes. This is how I order my coffee.
That's amazing.
It's not Madrinas. Yes. So if everyone's heard of the Primogen and Teach, they are Twitch streamers that are all about coding. Primogen used to work at Netflix, that he'll reference constantly if you ever watch his streams. And he's also someone that used to make fun of Arch and is now an Arch user. after DHH brought up Omarchi. Their coffee's pretty good. So you press A to go to the account, C to go to the cart. If you can add it, whatever. And personally, I want to shop like this more. I think this is what we need to do. The back end is written in, the front end's written in Go. The back end's written in Node.js.
What's backwards?
That is absolutely backwards.
Well, their DevOps people suck.
How about that one?
Yeah, their DevOps people suck. They only know Node. The front end people are good programmers and love Go. And it took them 3 days to figure out and then just kind of hunker down and make this framework for whatever to make it. They wanted to use Rust, but Ratatouille had too much of a learning curve. But yes, and if anyone goes, oh, is it secure? It's SSH. And then you can quit out with, I think, hitting Q or just Control-C and direct.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys, people love to hear that.
Also, I have one more thing I'll put in Slack. The batch record from Hell server. You can still get excuses via Telnet.
And
amazing.
Blinking Lights has just gotten an update as well, so you can now watch Star Wars on the command line yet again.
Over Telnet, of course.
What?
Oh, of course.
What's the difference? Than the last time I saw it.
On shot first.
That's good parameter, right? So I am a fan of. Since Andy let me know, I'm assuming it was safe to steal the share.
Yeah, I don't have anything more other than a bunch of commands for screen, but that's a whole nother talk.
So this is one of my, similar to Andy, I don't remember which one of yours prompted this in my brain. But ipecho.net/plain is like, what is my IP service? But it's just plain text. So there you go. There's my public IP. And you notice it is so plain text, it doesn't even give you a new line. So if you want a new line, you have to do your own something like that. There you go. So that's a fun one. I also I don't know if it's my fault for building better computers or if it's Ubuntu's fault for being canonical. But I've discovered that flash drive transfers are absolutely annoying these days. Because what will happen, right, is I'll copy and I'll paste, and it'll be like, done, it's copied. And it's like, no, it's not. Because watch, if I go to try and eject it, it's like, oh, no, something's keeping this busy. You can't do that.
I have a
So
command for it.
it.
Use sync.
What?
SYNC.
Yeah, sync tells it to sync. It doesn't actually give you any progress. So
I
if you want
wrote
progress-
something in Rust for that. I have a sync progress bar someplace. I need to revive that project.
So if you do this, then you can see how much is there. And combining it with some of the earlier stuff about the watch command,
Mhm.
we go and we put like that. And now we can watch. Because basically what it did, right, is it copied the whole ISO into RAM. And now it's slowly writing it to the drive. Now, what I don't know is if it already updated the inodes on the flash drive or if it's doing that as the copy's over. But either way, these numbers will slowly drop and drop and drop. And once they get around zero, and right, as your computer does other stuff, they'll bounce up and down and whatnot. But this is sort of a rudimentary progress bar for how long is it actually going to take to copy that ISO to the flash drive. Which if you're using things like Ventoy, where you're literally just copying and pasting an ISO onto a flash drive rather than DDing it or catting it over to the flash drive, that could be really helpful. Ventoy, for those that don't know, is an amazing set of grub scripts that basically you can just boot ISOs. So you have a flash drive, copy and paste ISOs onto it, and then it gives you a menu that you can pick which ISO you want. A similar trick to this that I run into a fair bit with copy paste issues and whatnot is, say you want to, instead of copying the ISO to a file system on a flash drive, say you want to burn, if you will, or direct copy the ISO to the flash drive. Well, then first we need to make sure we've got the right device. I'm not gonna mess that up.
Oopsies, your boot drive's gone.
Yeah, so we're gonna make sure it's SD. And we don't want, oh, I need sudo in here, don't I? That is not what I meant to do. I have an extra type symbol at the end. And yeah, okay, cool. So it is dev SDA. So I'm going to do that. So we're going to clear that. Also, clear and reset are great commands. Clear goes like that, but depending on the terminal, you might still be able to scroll and you've still got whatever other formatting was there. Reset actually is like closing and reopening.
Oh, here, I got a command for you. Put a bunch of pull up a previous command, and when you're typing, you screw up something. Yeah, and you want to clear it quick. Control U, and also Control U if you're typing in a password on the command prompt. You know how you can't see it. Control U will also clear out anything you've typed in for that password, and so that way you can start fresh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Backspace no.
Oh, and
So
clear may be good. Control L, however, clears your entire command prompt. It refreshes it, repaints it, and it's all fresh.
I'm assuming that's probably a better thing to do. Like if you completely utterly corrupt your command prompt by sending binary data to it.
yeah,
We've all been there.
So, similar to the progress of the other one, if you use DD, you can do status equals progress. Little known fact, if you send a kill signal USR1 to it from another terminal, you can also get progress updates, but that's a rather manual thing unless you script it out. So if you just do status equals progress, it'll show you the progress. The problem is it also does caching. For a raw write utility, it is not just raw writing. So if you do O flag for output flag equals direct, it disables all of the caching and crap so that it's literally just writing at the speed that it can actually write to the drive. So then we're going to want sudo again. I almost always run it without sudo first just to make sure. And then, yeah, so you can see this is how fast it's actually copying to the drive, which for a Gen USB 3.2 point something, I think. I don't remember what it was.
Whatever they call it this week.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, for write speed to it over a crappy USB, probably 2.0 at best adapter, I mean, that looks pretty respectable to me. And yeah,
Remember, it matters not only for it's not only the medium for how fast it'll standard, it's also based on how fast the chip or the medium that you're dealing with can read and write as well. So there's a lot of things in the middle, and more of a reason why you want to use sync.
Right, but this has an NVMe drive and 32 gigs of RAM, so we should be fine as far as everything else. It's just
But your SD card or the USB drive itself could have crappy memory in it.
right. But I'm saying we're limited to just those, basically the adapter and the flash drive.
Yeah.
Then yes, the flash drive spec as well as the chip on it.
If you are running ancient versions of DD, you will have to revert back to the USR one because that's progress is newish as of about less than 10 years. So if you're running on some older box, that type of progress might not exist.
Yeah, it's definitely become a thing within the time that I've been using DD, but also every DD that I've actually tried it on, it's worked. But that's probably just because I out about it after it was implemented. So.
Yeah, remember I was in college. It was hit or miss of if you could use it or not.
Yeah, and the O flag direct, this is just how I do DD now, because it's one thing to have the GUI level, stuff caching and doing weird stuff behind the scenes, but it's so annoying to have what is supposed to be a low level byte for byte copy tool doing auto magic caching crap that doesn't give me good progress. Because it'll tell you, even if you just do the progress, it'll be like, oh yeah, I copied all 2.4 gigs, you're done. But then you go to try and pull the drive out and it's got half a gig on it. It's like, what is this? So I always use the O flag direct. I believe there's also an I flag and you can do some other weird stuff there because it's DD and of course you can. And this is also a fun note. If you're bored of CP in standard Linuxy syntax, use DD for everything. You can pipe it over SSH. You can use it in place of, CP. You can use it in place of SCP. You can do a lot of dumb things with it. And this is the syntax for output file and input file, which is the IF and the OF, which just so happen to be words in the English language that mean nothing in this context.
Be very careful because remember, in Linux, everything is a file, and I have accidentally dumped to a small display a very large image of a ARM system because I missed the file I was supposed to push it to.
You can also just wipe can just wipe your drive as well. A little bit of fun things you can do.
I've also done that, yes.
If you're using over SSH, you should probably pipe it to gzip on both sides. So gzip it over the wire, then ungzip it as you're outside of DD. I've definitely done that. Like, I need to go rescue like a
you can also
I rescue like a BPS's disk. So I put like a boot the right ISO, and I want to back up the whole disk. Then you can just DD the whole disk over SSH.
rsync might be.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, I want the whole drive. I want the whole drive with everything on it.
I was at a satellite site once for a day job and went to clone a machine and realized I forgot to bring my portable hard drive with me. So I went and I found an Ethernet cable, and AutoMDX did what AutoMDX did. I had enough flash drives that I was able to. I already had one that was an Ubuntu boot drive, and I was able to use a laptop in the existing boot drive to make a copy of my flash drive. And then I used each of the flash drives in the computers, connected it with the Ethernet cable, and I made a clone. And it took a little bit because it was only gigabit, but hey, it worked.
Can't believe that actually worked. Toilet is a command that you can use to make large ASCII-like art for like banners and stuff like that. And of course, like everything else, you can pipe it through lolcat.
Do lolcat-a.
That's particularly evil, but I love it.
Does anybody use NCDU for disk usage?
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Great for hunting down those large files that suck up all your disk space and you don't know where it went. And apparently you can LOLcat it if you want it colorful.
Since we all know grep, I will have to say I'm going to put in exactly my favorite switch statements that have made me look like a genius, and they also work on Git Bash. So if you're ever working on legacy code, this is there you go. It's so you have to use -NRIHE. N will give you the number of the line that it's on. R will do recursive in all the files. I will ignore case. H will make it so when you grab all the information, it's human readable. And then E will allow you to support regex for your search. And then you can put in an entire, you just point it to a folder and it'll just start ripping down and grab everything.
Cool.
If you want to look real smart, you alias that to wgrep, and then it's Will's grep.
Yep.
Okay, that's fair, but I'd like to just be raw and show people because if everyone thinks I have magic grep sauce, then I have to grep everything for them, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not a boomer. I don't say this is job security. I'm trying not to do other people's jobs. Okay. But rip grip. Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
Can you demo how to use the sync command to do something more than just sit there and look at me?
Not off the top of my head, and I don't have the other Rust binary built that has the timer on it or the progress bar on it.
Oh, so it's like an extra thing. No wonder why I couldn't do it too.
Yeah, I have to put.
You sync the flash drive, and I'm like, it's already syncing. I just want progress.
Sync is useful if I don't know, you've been bashed a box and you've don't have anything running, so you edited your password file. Before you reboot, run sync a couple times just to make sure that everything is written to disk before you reboot.
Oh, I have to use sync
Sure.
whenever I create the micro SD cards for all the ARM boards I used to work on as an Arch Linux ARM dev. The number one issue of me doing any testing for working on a board support package was always forgetting to run the sync command because I was too impatient or whatever. And I would have corrupted images, because the worst problem is on micro SD cards that you'll have the entire thing buffered. It'll give you back your command prompt for doing the DD, but all the zeros or anything extra on like whatever's left on the card, while it's doing that'll work in the background, and it'll give you a false sense of hope that it's already done copying. So sync,
that's what the whole flight direct will help with that too.
yeah.
Also, pro tip: if you are like me and do a lot of, well, this thing won't boot eventually, so I'm just going to DD it to the drive, and then you're going to use that drive for something else. And Windows is angry because it's got like 7 different sub partitions on it. It's a flash drive, and it's like, you can't do that. It's like, yeah, but I did. The easy way to fix that is to just DD write zeros to it, and like you just need to let it run for a few seconds. You don't need much, but that will. Yeah, but that will completely destroy the partition table.
Yeah.
Which then, if you plug it into Windows or Mac or anything else, it's like, hey, this is broken. We need to format it. You say, okay, and it's fixed. It's an empty drive now.
That's one. There is the NVMe race standard.
NVMe race trim?
No, I think maybe older SSDs can do it, but definitely the NVMe has an erase standard, and the erase command is given, and the drive inside. Yes.
Does that work on flash drives though?
That sounds like a very NVMe specific.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, yes,
that
and
is.
what I was specifically talking about is making flash drives happy again, so you can use them as like a standard FAT32.
Flash drives.
Yes.
Because if you're DDing like an ISO flash drive because it didn't like ventilate, or like it's PF sense and it comes as an ING because the ISO's jank. Not that I've dealt with that in the past 24 hours, but but then you want to revert the flash drive to be like able to just put files on it and use it as a standard flash drive again. OSs can get angry about that. So if you want, you can just DD zeros to the first little bit the partition table, and then you've effectively got a corrupt flash drive. But every OS sees that and just goes, oh, I know what to do. I need to build a partition table and spin up that 32 partition and all this stuff. And it kind of just works.
I don't know, with modern GPT devices, there actually are 2 partition tables. I don't think anyone has actually looked at the second one. There's one at the start of the drive and there's one at the end of the drive. So they look at GPT drives, like why is there a little space at the end? That's where it stashes the second partition table.
What's the second partition table?
It literally is just a second partition table. I can't remember why it's a thing, but I know that there's some of the new GPT stuff, they've got 2 partition tables.
So every one's its partition table?
Yep.
So if you tried his trick, it would look at the second one.
Oh, I don't know if Windows is smart enough. I don't know if Windows is smart enough to look at the second table.
Yeah.
I don't, because most of mine now are GPT when I do it.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it doesn't look at the second table, but if you ran some recovery software, it would surprise me. It would look at the end and go, oh, I can go recover the file systems.
Yeah, and that tactic is definitely not a security measure because you're not actually deleting any of
No.
other than however much you deleted because you stop DD.
Because even if you don't have the second partition table, you can still run some software to walk the whole drive
Pretty
and it'll
much
find
any
it.
forensic software, yeah.
I can see being useful.
Shred OS is a fun one, but that's not really terminally. That's just
Which of course,
that's in like on an ISO.
It's like you boot up on an ISO and put some drives in it and there's nothing good
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
which of course, if you tick off people enough that they're going to do forensic level recovery of your files, you've probably stepped into the rubber hose cryptography your way through getting you to answer stuff.
I mean, for me, it's mostly
Not true.
I collect machines from organization and want to recycle, but don't want data out there. So let me
Yeah.
try to list this.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly fair.
The really fun part though is that ShredOS can actually generate PDF certificates of extraction that have like the it's actually modern versions of NWipe that do it, but again, ShredOS is basically NWipe with a boot sector and an ISO. The interesting thing though is that so there's a config file. So after you do it the first time, it generates a config file. And then if you go in and edit the config file, or if you know where the config file should be, you can just go in and put it manually. You can add like technician phone number, technician organization, and technician so I have mine saying it was me. But what the really funny quirk in it, because it's a COD, it has a timestamp. Because it's booted up into an OS that doesn't it's just running from a flash drive. Well, it uses the local RTC, which may or may not be accurate if these are laptops that have been in a closet for 3 years. So I did a week's worth of things, and then I pulled all the CODs, and some of them were from 2014, some were from 2016, some were from 2025, some were from 2023. They were all over the place because it was just the local RTC of whatever device that was. It was great.
M-Blank?
ShredOS or NWipe.
NWipe. Sorry.
I think this is the modern incarnation of Darren's boot nuke.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's what I used back in the day.
So that doesn't run anymore? It's been forever since I went.
I remember looking it up, but I think it got. I looked it up and it looked sketchy and weird, and looks like it might have gotten acquired and things might have gotten sideways.
Yeah, I think he just kind of got tired of maintaining it. And then ShredOS was like, well, there's this new NWipe. Why don't we do this? And like the new NWipe can do CODs and everything else, so let's just make it happen.
It's like
Good to see you, Greg.
There's also a cool thing with ShredOS that you have, there's a specific
Thanks for coming, Greg.
file that if you put it on the flash drive that you've got ShredOS on, then when you go to wipe things, it won't list the flash drive as a drive that you can wipe. So if you don't want to accidentally wipe the drive that you're running it from, it's a failsafe for that. Now, they very clearly point out in their documentation, it is not a failsafe for any other drive. So you can't be like, oh, well, my OS boot drive is sensitive, so I'm going to put the file there. No. Unless it's running from that drive, it won't care about that file and it will nuke it anyway. And there are like auto nuke options and stuff, so you can have it just like plug the drive in, you boot from it, and everything it finds, it starts wiping.
Will, whatever you're trying to share is not coming up yet.
Oh, that's weird. Hold on, let me try something then.
Oh, I don't know if it'll work like that. I use a quarter-inch drill bit. I tried that. I couldn't get through the drive. No, it's not easy. Okay, it just destroys
There, yep, it's working now.
Yeah, and I had like a
It's really good. Then you power the thing. It just destroys the rest of the
We
system.
really want to do it that way. 556, 762.
Is this
So
is this Iris?
what I found
Yeah, but
This is WeChat.
really well
Okay.
in a semi-office environment.
Now, the key part about WeChat is, and I need to get the TLS cert updated on it, is you can get a web browser connection that you can bounce through from home called Glow, and you just got to go to glowingbear.org. Sorry, I think it's glowing-bear.org. I'll put the link in the chat. If there's any command line utility that I have been using for since before I went to college, it's been this.
I haven't used that in forever.
Oh, yeah. So you set up the relay port with the TLS cert, and then you get all of this plus additional features. And it's tied in and works exactly however you want. Plus, you have WeChat Android, and that ties in with the relay port. So you have an Android app. You have everything persistent. It's great. Please abuse IRC. It's wonderful. And, remember, CIA does have an IRC channel that a few people have that don't know how to use or don't care to use Slack because Ew.
It exists. I need to probably restart the poor sweet little bridge.
But anyway,
They probably being an island, or you'd have heard about it by now.
Will, do you have a good solution for storing IRC chat history?
I mean, they got it built in the logs if you want to. You can log, you can not log, and you can do log forwarding with it. If you want to, there's even a Splunk forwarder for logs if you really wish to go nuts with it.
I don't.
That seems a little interesting.
I mean, then there's also what I've been doing at work for, for an IRC replacement kind of thing, because I have to get synchronous and asynchronous stuff working, and I have to have a guy that only knows PowerShell to write something to talk to a server, and I need someone who only understands Flask and vibe coding to talk to it. So I've modified my little chat server here. Let's go back out here. And if you, I'll put the link for it. I know I've talked about it in the past. It's written in Go, but let's see here. Post that up here so anyone can use it. I need to vibe code some new UI on it to really give that classic AOL Instant Messenger feel. But you can chat on here. This is the only logs it keeps. And of course, I have a window that is just in the way here. Okay, there we go. Now we can move that. All right. So yeah, anyway, everyone can go use it, whatever, and you just use /Nick. It changes it, and it's all running there. This is using K9s to talk to Kubernetes, see what's happening. I'm getting everyone's IP addresses that come in, just one by one. You can make it super secure. I have the code all on GitLab, and we just got to add TLS to it with your cert, and you can run it. There you go. And then if you need to, you can do /CMD for command, so you can remove the name from it. And for this, we'll run a little gadget. Fun fact, this is also the control bus of mine for my Christmas tree when I set it up, because I wanted a random number generator for the lights, and what's more random than a bunch of crazy people on the internet? Nothing. That is it. That is the yeah. I can add a bunch of authentication stuff, whatever, but yeah, it's all written in Go, really simple. I absolutely use and abuse it. And I have a command line. I have a Go client that you can also use, filter through to see what's going through with it. And we're getting set up to use this with multiple agents for getting messages and doing live live histogramming and data collection and observability. Also replace Datadog for what we're doing at work.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's got. I can get it to do more. I know how to push it to do a lot more. It's just no one's asked or needed it. So, but anyway, posting the link for the code in the channel, and I will also post that in the Slack.
Just as a sync.
Oh,
dump Bison, I guess.
No, we're getting live data for what's happening with lab systems, and then we're graphing that information as it comes across. So we have a custom heuristics, and then we have then everyone else just writes their own WebSocket client to just skim what they need to, and they save it, and that's it. So it's literally kind of turning like the concepts of IRC into a giant logging server.
Huh.
It works surprisingly well as a command and control server. Oh, and here's a fun discovery. AI will hit everything on the web server for this, but they'll never use WebSockets. So